Thousands of Tokyo Olympics volunteers quit, NHK.
Here's a summary of the article.
The logo of Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games that have been postponed to 2021 due to the coronavirus disease outbreak, is seen through a traffic sign at Tokyo Metropolitan Government Office Building in Tokyo, Japan January 22, 2021. Reuters, Issei Kato, around 10,000 of the 80,000 volunteers who signed up to help at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games have quit, broadcaster NHK reported on Wednesday, citing organizers. The Tokyo 2020 Olympics were postponed last year due to the coronavirus pandemic and are due to start on July 23. Multiple opinion polls have shown that a majority of respondents are opposed to holding the Games this summer during the pandemic.
This post received a score of 9,000, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
I like that the Olympics is supposed to bring all nations together for some good old-fashioned sportsmanship, but there's too much evidence to deny that hosting it in a different city every time causes more damage than necessary.
There should be a permanent site built in Greece. There could also be co-host nations that would have their country, culture highlighted along with Greece at the Olympic site, and such.
As a Greek, I'd like to argue that this would be unfair to other countries that want and can host the Olympics. However, the IOC should be more diligent in assigning the Olympics to countries, cities that aren't a step before bankruptcy or, as you said, co-host the Olympics similarly to what was planned for the Euro Football Championship last year.
There are not that many nations that can or want to host it anymore. It costs billions to set up and prepare and then mostly just lies dormant and falls apart after. A few sites around the world would be best to rotate through.
Because of that, it's considered that in the future only dictatorships will host Olympics, as they would care about prestige, regardless of how popular it is with their citizens.
In this day and age, I can't understand how something like the Olympics relies on volunteer work. They're just not paying people for working on a huge event. Are there truly thousands of people out there who feel it is their calling to help run the Olympics?
But you get a free t-shirt and a poorly made ham sandwich.
So it's a step above Fyre Fest.
In Fyre Fest you are the sandwich.
An idiot sandwich.
Yes, chef.
Everton.
BBC bans bollocking Blackstock.
Awesome, one of us. I loved Chef. I wasn't sure if anyone would get the reference in a sea of Futurama, but looked like it was being lined up by another fan, so couldn't disappoint. Grin.
Great show, and I remain convinced that Gordon Ramsay should write a royalty check to Lenny Henry every damn year.
IOC has been a greedy money-driven entity for a while now. It needs to go.
But they are a Swiss non-profit. They can't be greedy crooks that actually care very little about amateur sport.
TBH, I'm surprised there are still 70,000 volunteers left after 10,000 quit. I was signed up but quit a month or two ago, as it seemed dangerous to be hanging out with a bunch of other unvaccinated volunteers, on top of it being hot, outdoor venue, far away, and totally unpaid.
Japanese summers can average 30 to 35 C with 80% humidity every day. Heat waves can account for approximately 100 deaths and approximately 10K heatstroke hospitalizations every year. In summer 2019, about 15K people were hospitalized in a span of 1 week. The Greater Tokyo area cannot afford to put more unnecessary strain on its razor-thin medical resources right now.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.